Once upon a time in a small village nestled between lush green hills, there lived a young boy named Arif. Arif was known in his village for his kindness and curious nature. However, he often doubted himself and his abilities. He believed he was too ordinary to achieve anything great. One day, the village elder, Baba Rahim, announced that a great mountain stood at the edge of their village. It was said that anyone who could climb to its peak would find a treasure chest containing a life-changing reward. Many villagers scoffed at the idea. "It's impossible," they said. "The mountain is too steep, and the journey is too dangerous." Despite his self-doubt, Arif was intrigued. He visited Baba Rahim and asked, "Do you think I can climb the mountain?" The wise elder smiled and replied, "If you believe you can, then you will." The treasure is not just at the peak, it's in the journey itself. Arif went home and thought about Baba Rahim's words. For the first time, he felt a spark of motivation. He decided to try, even if he didn't reach the top. The next morning, Arif packed some food, water, and a small book of inspiring quotes. He borrowed from the village library. As he started his journey, some villagers laughed. "You climb that mountain. You'll give up. Before halfway," they teased. Arif felt a pang of doubt, but remembered Baba Rahim's words. He whispered to himself, "One step at a time." The journey was not easy. The path was rocky, and thorns scratched his legs. As the sun beat down on him, Arif wanted to quit. But then he opened his book and read a quote: "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Encouraged, he took another step, then another. Along the way, Arif met an old woodcutter named Do. The woodcutter was resting under a tree and asked, "Where are you going, young man?" Arif explained his mission. Do laughed and said, "I tried to climb that mountain when I was your age. I gave up, but maybe you'll make it. Why didn't you succeed?" Arif asked, "I thought I couldn't." Do admitted. Arif nodded, determined to keep going. "I'll try, even if I fail," he said. As he climbed higher, the air grew colder, and the path narrow. Arif slipped several times, but always got back up. He met a shepherd named Mariam, who warned him of the dangers ahead. "The higher you go, the harder it gets," she said. "Are you sure it's worth it?" Arif thought for a moment and replied, "Even if I don't reach the top, I want to know how far I can go." Mariam smiled. "That's the spirit," she said, and handed him a small flask of warm tea. "You'll need this." Finally, after days of climbing, Arif reached a point where he could see the peak. His legs ached, his hands were blistered, and he was exhausted. He felt like giving up. But then he remembered something Baba Rahim had told him. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Arif closed his eyes and visualized himself standing on the peak. He imagined the joy, the pride, and the treasure. With renewed energy, he took the final steps. When he reached the top, there was no chest of gold, no jewels, and no magical reward. Instead, there was a simple mirror and a dot note. The note read, "The greatest treasure is belief in yourself. You climbed this mountain not because of what you found at the top, but because you believed you could. Take this mirror and see the person who made it possible." Arif stared at his reflection. For the first time, he saw himself not as an ordinary boy, but as someone strong, determined, and capable. He realized that the journey had changed him. He had learned resilience, courage, and the power of self-belief. When Arif returned to the village, the people were amazed. "Did you find the treasure?" they asked. Arif smiled and replied, "Yes, I found something more valuable than gold. I found belief in myself." Double quotes. From that day on, Arif became a source of inspiration for everyone. He taught the villagers that motivation is not something you find outside, it comes from within. He reminded them that even the greatest challenges can be overcome with determination and self-belief. And so, the small boy who once doubted himself became a symbol of hope for his village. He showed everyone that the power to achieve greatness lies in taking the first step and never giving up.